Hey guys, it's me, and I'm back with another travel vlog. This time my family and I are heading to Toronto and Niagara Falls for a 4-day trip. And here we are, boarding our flight from Winnipeg Airport. It's been a while since we had our last family trip. Probably 2 years ago when we had our vacation in the Philippines. So goodbye for now, Winnipeg. And hello, Toronto.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now preparing for landing. Welcome to Toronto.
We safely arrived in Toronto, but we're heading straight to Niagara Falls. It took us about 2 hours to get there in our rental car, with my dad driving and me navigating. You know, the usual travel vlog vibe. Lots of road footage to pass the time. After 2 hours of driving, we finally arrived at Clifton Hill, which was just walking distance from Niagara Falls. We dropped off our luggage at the Travelodge Hotel before heading out to enjoy the rest of the day. So now that we're settled in, let's go! So we headed outside to do some sightseeing around the area. And there were tons of cool amusement park style buildings. We forgot to grab lunch at the airport, so we stopped at Boston Pizza for a light and super late meal. And of course, we got some drinks too. After eating, we started walking towards our next destination, Niagara Falls. The scenery was absolutely breathtaking. Yeah. It was our first time seeing the falls, and it was totally worth the trip. We had dinner reservations at the Table Rock House restaurant. I booked it months in advance to make sure we'd get a good spot, and luckily we did. They gave us a table by the window overlooking the falls. The food and drinks were absolutely delicious. We stayed until nighttime so we could see the falls light up. And here's my dad happily enjoying his time and updating his Facebook posts, of course. After dinner, we went outside to get a better view of the falls. It was even more stunning at night. And tons of people were there enjoying it with us. We waited for the fireworks show, which started at 10 p.m. I mean, who doesn't love a good fireworks show, right? Once the fireworks wrapped up, we decided to head back to Clifton Hill to enjoy the nightlife. All the buildings were lit up with bright lights and decorated in fun, quirky ways that gave the area its unique charm. Naturally, we had to try more food while we're there. There was a lot of walking, sightseeing, and picture taking. We didn't bother with the ride since the lines were too long and we were short on time. So my parents and sister decided to call it a night and headed back to the hotel, while my brother and I kept exploring. We saw more buildings, visited the falls again, stopped by the casino, and finally decided to end the day. Another day begins. We stopped by Tim's to grab our coffees and breakfast wraps before heading out to Niagara Falls again. But this time, we were taking a cruise to experience the falls up close. We arrived at the loading docks and put on the complimentary raincoats provided by the cruise. Enjoy it! Welcome to my falls. Here, you can see the bridge that connects the US and Canadian borders. Seeing the falls up close was even more incredible than I imagined. As we got closer and closer, the mist from the falls soaked us. But honestly, it was such an amazing feeling. It reminded me of being a kid again, playing in the rain during a thunderstorm back in the Philippines. The cruise lasted about 15 minutes, but it was more than enough for my family and me to fully enjoy the experience. Watching them have just as much fun as I did filled my heart with happiness. It was truly an unforgettable moment. We went back to our hotel to dry off and change clothes. After that, my parents reunited with some old friends who had driven to Niagara Falls from New York. It had been several years since they last saw each other, so there was a lot of catching up to do. We had lunch together at the Queen Victoria Place restaurant. And afterward, we said our goodbyes and hit the road again. After another 2 hours of driving, we made it back to downtown Toronto. The city was filled with towering skyscrapers and massive buildings. But the residential areas had their own unique charm too. We arrived at our Airbnb unit, and here's the view from the balcony window. We only rested for 30 minutes before it was time to head out and explore downtown. Back at it again with our exploration in downtown Toronto. First stop, Ripley's Aquarium. It was incredible to see all these freshwater and seawater creatures all in one place. There was a huge variety, and it was so cool to see these animals in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Especially this one right here. Look at that. Majestic. It was a bit too crowded for my liking, but still, a really fun experience overall. One of the highlights was walking through the glass tunnel, where you're surrounded by fish and different types of sharks swimming overhead. Yep, there's that rare creature again, caught on camera.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much reading.
We also saw a sea turtle and a giant grouper, which was massive in person. There were jellyfish, stingrays, and we even got to take a look at the water tank system. After our under-the-sea adventure, we passed by Scotiabank Arena and the old Toronto City Hall. Eventually, we made it to Nathan Phillips Square, where there happened to be a Mexican culture event going on. There were a lot of people who attended the event too. We got to try some delicious food from the various stalls before continuing on to the Eaton Center. By then, we were all pretty exhausted from everything we'd seen and done. So we grabbed some drinks and dinner from Sobeys and just chilled back at the condo for the rest of the night. Day 3. My dad reunited with his cousin that he hasn't seen for over 2 decades. It was another nice reunion, and they did a lot of catching up, sharing experiences for their new lives in Canada. After that, we started walking to our next destination. The route we took was very picturesque, so there were a lot of cool locations to take photos of. We also got to see Toronto's Chinatown as a bonus sightseeing location. When we arrived at Kensington Market, we took the liberty to see all the restaurants and commercial stalls it had before we decided which one we want to go into. It also had a lot of mural paintings and art installations in the street. All of us were still full from our Tim's breakfast, so we just got some watermelon drinks to refresh ourselves before we take an Uber to get to our next location, which is the ferry that goes into Toronto Islands. After boarding the ferry, it took us 10 to 15 minutes to travel to the island. We took the Center Island port because it was the most popular one, and we got to see Toronto's beautiful skyline on a very good weather condition. We arrived at Toronto Islands, and we were famished. So we had our lunch at the Marina and Yacht Club restaurant. While we ate our lunch, we had a great view of the marina and the skyline in the horizon. We took another stroll and found a great spot to take a photo of the skyline. We stopped for a moment to enjoy the view and took as many photos as we liked, as a remembrance for this unforgettable place. And for the rest of the afternoon, we rented bicycles to explore the island.
Come with me in the morning light. You can worry tomorrow. Pack your bags, we are taking flight. Kiss all your troubles goodbye. Kiss all your troubles goodbye. You and me, we were born to move. You have wings, why not spread them? Feel the wind leave behind your blue. Up in the cloudless sky.
Welcome
In the cloudless sky.
Joy!
It was very nice to feel the breeze as you bike around and just explore the rest of the island without knowing where you'll end up. We got to see some landmarks and stop by for some photos.
Come with me in the morning light. You can worry tomorrow. Take the lead, darling.
And for our last stop, we saw this lighthouse and decided to rest a bit before we head back to downtown.
Kiss all your troubles goodbye. Up in the cloudless sky.
We returned to downtown and waited for an Uber to take us back to the condo. We rested for a few hours before my dad and I decided to do a last-minute exploration of downtown at night.
Gagaloko.
The CN Tower was well lit, and the night scene was just as beautiful as it was during the day. We took some night photos and headed back to the condo to rest for the night. It was time to pack up our things as we prepared to check out and head back to the airport.
Goodbye.
Our 4-day trip was very worth it, and we enjoyed every bit of it. And that wraps up our trip to Niagara Falls and Toronto. If you made it at the very end of this video, I hope you enjoyed the sights, the food, and all the fun moments with my family. So, I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'm just kidding, he did not say that. So what's next? Well, here's to manifesting it. またすぐに会いましょう。